What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week 0 podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tired defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick six it in the swamp. Cat scratch fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick six, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Ducks. Wow. Chase Cota.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, Marcus Burton for Naismith. To my left is my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. Sean, I was at the game Saturday. Man, rough week, rough weekend for the Irish. How you holding up, man?
Disappointing. I had some choice of words in my head. I tweeted too, as did everybody, about the game. And good game. It was a good game. Fun. And, I mean, it was Clemson, and Clemson's a rival now. So I enjoy it. And disappointed, and New Year's Six Bowls hope's gone, and this was kind of the last year to do it before the playoff, which I wanted because, yeah, we can make the 12-team playoff and win one there, but I kind of wanted to do it before that format to guarantee a game, right? And thought this was the year to win a New Year's Six Bowl, and I mean, we're ranked 20th. Crazy things can happen, but no. So I guess a good consolation prize would be LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl, but we'll talk about that later. But, yeah, the game was very interesting, and I'll have some definitely words during our podcast for that.
Yeah, man, I was at the game. First things first, I want to get this out of the way. If you ever get a chance to go to a game at Clemson, do it. I went there, nicest fan base I've ever met. Southern hospitality is a real thing. And didn't meet anybody that was rude. Actually Clemson fans were nicer to me and my fiance at the game than our own fans at the game. There's a story, but I'll get into that later. No, I got to sit 2 rows from the field. I took a lot of pictures, posted. I was one of the first to post that Notre Dame was wearing the all whites, which I'm kind of going to get your thoughts on. I thought they were icy. I thought they looked really nice. I thought it made the gold pop a lot more. I think it's Marcus Freeman that's part of him making Notre Dame cool again. I don't think besides the Shamrock unis, Notre Dame had ever wore white on white, besides, maybe in the 1900s. But now, we'll get into it first things.
I liked it. Yeah, I mean, I liked the white on white. It was cool. It was unexpected. Just wish we won in them.
Yeah. So let's get into the first topic, Sean. This is one of the ones I wanted to get into.
I hope it's the fun one.
Yeah.
I hope it's the fun one.
Who is more to blame?
Yep.
For this season? Sam Hartman or Gerad Parker?
This season or that game?
This season, and then we'll do the game.
Okay, this season, Parker. That game was all on Sam Hartman. All. I don't want to hear shit. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear anything
about. Go ahead.
I don't want to hear anything about the receivers.
Yeah.
We got injured receivers and freshmen out there. So, yeah, I mean, they're like good old not Tim Hyde. Who's the guy that does that podcast with Mike Singer?
Mike Goolsby.
Goolsby. Like he said, they're open. They might not be wide open. They're open. Yeah. And I don't want to blame play calling. Yes. Wise estimate out the game in certain situations. Yes, all here and this. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to blame the defense. I mean, they allowed a lot of points, but there was a pick six and a fumble that gave Clemson the ball in their own territory. Other than that, I think the defense played extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
The offense had 6 chances to tie the game in the second half. 6. This game was all on Sam Hartman. All. He looked uncomfortable. He looked spooked, Marcus Freeman said. And this dude was, I don't care what people say, overthrowing, underthrowing, was not accurate at all in this game. Had open receivers, but was not hitting them. Throwing, forcing passes, pick sixes, etc. And worst of all, giving up on plays. He gave up on plays. He just sat down and just in the pocket. Was done. He had a clean pocket. It may not have been the cleanest, but for a 6-year quarterback, he had plenty of time to deliver some passes, right? Even with Ashton Craig still in the game. There was a play or two with a drive or two left where he had an open receiver just way over his head. He looked spooked. And Marcus Freeman sits here and says, I love Freeman, but he got spooked after the pick six. I'm sorry, you don't bring in a 6th-year quarterback, 24 years old, to get spooked after an interception.
Yep.
We beat Clemson with Drew Pine, but can't beat Clemson with Sam Hartman. Might I add, a worser Clemson. I mean, this is still Clemson. Their record's 5-4, but they could easily be 7-2, 8-1, right? This is not hitting the mark this year. But I think we have to start to realize, and I really appreciate Sam Hartman. I still love Sam Hartman. And I think he is a great person, a great dude. But I think we kind of have to realize that maybe he isn't who we thought he was. Right. He was so good at the beginning of the year, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think he's had 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. My dad made a point to say that he's good against teams that he hasn't really played, but when he's played teams that he has a history of struggling against, it seems he's not mentally strong enough to bounce back from that.
Which is odd because NC State, that was one of the teams he historically struggled against, and he dominated NC State. I mean,
it wasn't really domination until the weather delay.
Yeah.
But, I do want to say that I love Sam Hartman. And I'm conflicted what I want to do the rest of the year. A part of me wants him to finish the year out because I've enjoyed the experience, regardless of the win-loss record. He's been fun to watch. Fall over, seeing the fans be like, "Oh, Sam Hartman," right? It's been a great experience, regardless of the win-loss record. We've had some great games with him. The Duke come back. A part of me wants him to finish, try to earn a draft pick. But a part of me, and we'll explain this later in the show, and I do want to go in depth for at least 10 to 15 minutes on the QB situation next year. But yeah, I think it's time to kind of talk. Is Sam Hartman who we thought he was? Because this is not Sam Hartman that started the year. This is not the same Sam Hartman. This has not been a good quarterback. And it's weird to bring this up, and Singer brought it up in his podcast, but I'm going to too. I was shocked when he pulled stat by stat, side by side of Drew Pine and Sam Hartman, and Drew Pine had better numbers than Sam Hartman. That's sad for a
It is.
six-year quarterback.
And I'll go ahead and answer the question as well. Parker needs to be gone next year.
100%. He
And
needs to be gone
100% needs to be gone. And I'm telling Freeman right now, this is one of the most vital moments in your coaching career at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If you bring back Gerad Parker next year, I will have serious doubts about Marcus Freeman as the head coach at Notre Dame, because then that means you have loyalty to people that aren't getting the job done. You cannot.
I'm good with the loyalty aspect, but I think that he has to understand that this offense isn't where he wanted it to be.
Yep.
He put all his – so he had a good first year, 9-4 bowl win, right?
Yep.
You're supposed to improve, and technically there's still a chance we can still improve, right? 10-3. But when you bring in the transfer quarterback for a 1 year off, you don't anticipate going 10-3, right? What I will say is that I saw something too that I do think the schedule and the results would be a little different. That's Tyler Horka said too. If the Ireland game, right, had a bye week after it.
I don't know, man. I'm of the mindset now, like Tommy Rees was bad. Tommy Rees was really bad. But you look at what he's doing at Alabama and how he's improved Jalen Milroe week to week. I mean, that Alabama offense was terrible. We remember that Alabama offense put up 13 points on a terrible USF team.
Yeah, and they're getting better and better as the year goes on.
Can you imagine Tommy Rees with Sam Hartman? How much better this offense would be? I think it'd be a lot better.
Let's say with Sam Hartman, I mean, technically, yes, but is this you thinking Sam Hartman is good?
I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's as good as what we thought he was, which was top 5 quarterback in college football.
If Sam Hartman went to Alabama, would he be more successful? I mean, there's a chance he could have, but
I don't think Alabama's offense is better. Like receivers and running backs, I don't think
so
the talent level is much different than what they've got at Notre Dame.
Goldsby has always hated Sam Hartman, and I never understood why. And he always said, why would a quarterback – there's never going to be another 6-year quarterback. It's just never going to happen. COVID year was, why would a quarterback come back for a 6-year to improve a draft stock instead of going to the NFL? If he was already good in his 5th year, he would have gone to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Goldsby said. And, it's kind of true, right? But, I still think Sam Hartman's a good quarterback. I'm not saying otherwise. I think he's super talented. When you play college football for 6 years, you should be as good as him, right? But I think it might – Sam Hartman could be the mistake of Freeman's career. I think that it was a great idea, and I think it was great to bring him in. I don't think it was great to guarantee him the starting job, right? So when they do bring in a transfer next year, because they will – no, they have to for numbers-wise, because you're going to have 3 quarterbacks. Most teams have 4. So, yes, they're going to bring in some. Is it going to be a Sam Hartman? Probably not. But it's going to be – because if we had Buckner, we'd be fine. But it's going –
Sean, what quarterback is going to sit there and be like, I'm in the portal. I want to go sit the bench at Notre Dame?
It's not sit the bench at Notre Dame. It's you're going to come in. I'm not going to guarantee you the job, but you can go to a better school and earn it, right? It's going to happen. There's somebody out there that wants it, right?
See, I don't like that idea. I like, if anything, if Freeman wants the 4 quarterbacks, go put Dylan Devison on scholarship.
Well, okay, that's fine. But here's this, though. We have to start Minchie and Jelly or Carr next year.
Yes.
Right? And next year's a bust. I hate to say it, Irish fans, but we're not doing shit next year.
I think we go 10-2.
Okay, we could.
Oh,
Right.
actually, we got a comment. Notre Dame needs to push for Cam Ward, the Washington State quarterback.
No. I mean, here's this though. Like, we cannot keep doing these one-off rentals because every single year it's going to be the same thing with anticipation, and then they're going to come in. They might be good, they might not. They're not going to have the ceiling to win us the championship. We need to develop our quarterbacks. We have 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the next 2 classes. We can't keep doing this, or no quarterback's going to want to come to Notre Dame because they're never going to play. We need to develop a quarterback so that way we don't get to have this, oh, next year's a rental, this year's a rental, next year develop. Because next year could be a lost year just because of development reasons.
And that's my thing. That's my thing, Sean, is like you get all these Notre Dame fans, and it seems like it's like 60-40. Go get a transfer to start next year. We have no experience. Sean, you want to tell Notre Dame fans how quarterbacks get experience?
By playing. By getting experience. Right. So here's this though, Ryan. Like,
oh my God.
If Angeli started this year, next year would be more promising because he has experience. This sounds familiar. Except replace Cam Ward with
Sam Hartman.
Yeah. So I get it. I do Luke Dog plays. I get it. People said Sam Hartman was a top 5 quarterback in college football at Wake Forest, and he was. Right? Yes, but guess what? He didn't do at Notre Dame right now. He'll be. Yes, these are all good quarterbacks, but you know what's something in common with them? Travis was developed. Ewers has been developed. He did transfer, but after barely playing at Ohio State. Ward was developed. Nix played in a Power 5 SEC schedule. Caleb Williams is a generational talent, arguably.
Michael Penix was developed at Indiana.
Hartman developed at Wake Forest. I think it's like hit or miss, right? And Penix had 2 years. The problem is all those transfer quarterbacks right there that you said, this is their second year with that program. They had another year with the program. Here's this, Luke Dog, right? We have to develop quarterbacks, right? Oh, we don't have the talent or experience and this and that. No, we're recruiting quarterbacks better than most teams in the country, better than 125.
And who's to say, like, Cam Ward might be better than CJ Carr right now.
But that doesn't mean CJ Carr isn't going to be better when he's a senior.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have to make him better, right? I'm not saying CJ Carr should start next year. Stroud. CJ Carr should start next year. I'm saying that I would love Minchie. I'd love Carr. Carr would be my favorite. But I think Angeli, I'm starting to wrap my head around the fact in Pitt, some of the throws he made.
Dude.
I was surprised.
I was impressed with his performance. I know it's against Pitt, but
here's this. Angeli starts next year and he comes back another season. Here's this, right? Ward's a top quarterback right now. Last year, were you saying that?
He was good. He was really good last year.
Joe Burrow in his first year at LSU was absolute garbage and had like 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Then he came back another year and dominated, right? Development is important, right? And a system's important. Offensive coordinator's a problem, but we cannot keep doing these rentals because we're going to be in the same place every year. Because you know what? You know how beginning of this year, we were kind of like, this is kind of going to be a year to set up the year after. And then we got Hartman and all our hopes were in.
Yep.
Now with Hartman gone and how the season's gone, we're all anticipating next year being the rebuild year, right? That can't be every year. It can't. We have to develop a quarterback that play more than one season. You just have to. You have to.
I mean, let me pull this up real quick because this is our schedule for next year. For what we have already, I think Notre Dame goes 10-2 with the schedule, regardless of who plays quarterback, whether that be Angeli, Minchie, or Carr.
We're missing their game, aren't we?
Yeah, because Miami was supposed to be our 12th, but they canceled. So I mean, look at the schedule, Sean. I mean, it's easy peasy, with the exception of Texas A&M and Florida State. USC, I think, is going to be in shambles because Caleb Williams is gone. I think Lincoln Riley's going to go to the NFL.
Well, USC's got a really good 5-star.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to play next year, and I don't think he may decommit and flip if Lincoln Riley's not there because kids want to go play for Lincoln Riley.
Think about this though.
USC.
We got Louisville
at home. I think we destroy Louisville.
We could. I mean, I think this is the easiest schedule since 2018, right?
Yeah,
if not easier. But Florida State's going to be without Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
Right.
And we get them at home. So that'll be – and it's November, so those Florida kids will have to come play in the cold.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fine. Marcus Freeman, we need a new offensive coordinator. Freeman's very defensive-minded. He doesn't – and he got somebody that – people, they need to help Marcus Freeman, right? Let him hire who he wants to hire.
Oh, what about Dante Moore?
No.
Because I've heard he might enter the portal.
Yeah. I mean, he's looked okay. He hasn't looked great. He's looked good, but development is right. But why does everyone just want to bring in a portal quarterback for somebody that might already be? Don't y'all want to see somebody that wanted to go to Notre Dame come out and be good? Like an Ian Book almost, but better. We have quarterbacks who were, top 50 players, and CJ Carr and if you include Minchie, who's very talented, and then you include Carr and then Deuce Knight, there's not 5 teams who have better quarterback hauls than that. There's not.
Lucas, who do you see as our 4 losses? Because I can't give you 4 on this roster. This, I really can't. I can give you maybe 3.
See, I don't even think 2 losses with that schedule might get us in the top 12. I mean, it could, but
I think it does.
Not with the schedule.
I think 10-2 Notre Dame gets in no matter what.
Not no matter what. I mean, it depends on the schedule. If we lose our 2 toughest games and beat Georgia Tech, that's not going to look the best, right?
Say we lose to Louisville and Florida State. We beat everyone else. What's the best win? USC?
Texas A&M.
No, I'm saying if we lose to A&M and Florida State, but we beat everybody else.
Yeah, but if you just said USC's in shambles, I don't know. We're not going to talk. I don't want to talk about record next year.
Yeah.
I kind of want to focus on.
So, because the reason I pulled up the schedule, as my thought process is with how easy the schedule is, this is the perfect year to start a true freshman quarterback or a quarterback with no experience, because your schedule is so easy that because you are Notre Dame, your talent level should allow you to coast in pretty much every single one of these games, no matter how bad or how good the quarterback play is. So, I mean, I think you start CJ Carr or Kenny Minchie. I don't think you start Steve.
Navy at MetLife Stadium. That looks like it should be a Shamrock Series game.
Yeah. But I think you start Minchie or Carr. And I don't know. I don't like Angeli starting because we've seen that song and dance before at Notre Dame. 3-star guy he wasn't very highly touted out of high school.
Oh, they play at Georgia Tech next year?
Yeah.
That's an hour from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I live like an hour and a half from Atlanta. I will be going to that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because
I'm thinking about going to that Purdue game.
You should.
Yeah.
But let's be honest here, right?
Yeah.
As much as I want and you want CJ Carr, Kenny Minchie to start because this is the schedule, it's likely going to be Stephen Jelly. And at first I hated it. But
can we do the Stephen Jelly but with a short leash, please?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But he's going to be here more than 2 years. He's a junior next year, right?
I don't know, man. I think if anything, even if Steve starts this year, when Deuce Knight gets on campus, you're starting CJ Carr. I don't care. Like someone's
this.
transferring out.
You have probably be Menchie or something, but I mean, let's say Steve Angeli starts, right?
Yeah.
He's a junior. He comes back one more year. Carr stays to develop. He wouldn't transfer after that because he'll probably start the next year. I mean, it's fine. That's a good problem to have. I don't want to worry about like, oh, one of these 3 good quarterbacks are gonna. I mean, we could still win 10 games this year if you include the bowl game. I mean, this was a disastrous season, and winning 10 games in a disastrous season would be not bad.
Yeah, and our schedule was a lot tougher than it was this year, or than it will be next year.
I will say this, though. Whoever Marcus Freeman wants as offensive court, I think, one, you're at a bye week right now, and they said we are looking at all options with quarterback, transfer quarterback, etc. Look into Gerad Parker. He's not coming. Here's the thing with Gerad Parker. He cannot be in this job by the beginning of December. And here's why. National Recruiting Signing Day, we need to show the recruits if we are replacing him, who we're replacing him with, so we don't lose anything, right? Just in case that does affect anything, because it could. 2, I don't want to keep him past the bowl game, and then January during early spring or early January enrollees and practices, like not know who our offensive coordinator is. We need to know, right? He needs to be gone by December, Gerad Parker.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to be demoted. That's just going to be awkward. Like, yeah, I'm the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Hey, I used to be. That's weird as shit. Yeah, he needs to be gone by December. He's gone. There's no wrench, right? You know he's gone. I'll probably let him finish the year out, but if he keeps Gerad Parker next year, I mean, it could end up being another Al Golden, but it didn't work, Freeman. It didn't work. Go get who you want and tell them if you want this to be a football school, give me who I want.
You know who I want? First of all, I want Notre Dame to open the damn pocketbook because we have the money to go out and get the best offensive coordinator in college football if we want to.
They could probably, if I buy a shirt at their bookstore, use that, and that could be a whole year's contract. That's how expensive that damn bookstore is.
Dude, they need to go, and these are the names I'd look at. Ryan Grubbs, the offensive coordinator at Washington. Go get that guy. Go get him. Go hire him. You mean to tell me that anybody – you mean to tell me that the Washington job is more valuable than going to Notre Dame? No.
Yes and no.
Notre Dame can pay him more.
Yes
Secondly,
and no. Yes.
The second guy I want is Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis lost his job at Colorado because Dion wanted to blame someone for his offensive line being trash. Okay? He blamed Sean Lewis. Go get Sean Lewis. Go get him. Go get somebody that can run a high-powered offense. And one of my issues with Freeman's philosophy is he said, I want Notre Dame to be a team that runs on the offense and defensive line, which is run the ball a lot. We've seen that for like the last 40 years, Marcus Freeman. I want to see a Notre Dame offense that throws it downfield, that is averaging 40 points a game, that doesn't run the ball 30 times.
I'm okay with that. We're recruiting so heavily at running back. If he wants to develop this team around running and it works and is successful, I don't see why not. And I don't see why that could be a problem as long as you develop the quarterback too. Yes, he was Golden Playbook. Thrown to the Holy Ghost. Grubbs turned down Bama LMAO. But yeah, I will say this too. Is Washington more attractive than Notre Dame right now? You could argue yes. And I'm going to say here's why. If you're an experienced offensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman isn't proven yet. You want to risk your career, maybe leave Washington where you're successful and could make a playoffs and could continue to succeed
for money.
Yes,
for a raise.
But you got to admit, I mean, that'd be nerve-wracking because this coach isn't proven yet, and you're going to risk a lot, right? It's just, I mean, if Freeman made it won a New Year's Six Bowl this year, it'd be different. But his record in like 2 years is 16 and what, 7? Like, he hasn't really proven himself yet as a winning coach. I mean, he's won 1 out of every 3 of his games.
Okay, but Dan Lanning's getting experienced offensive coordinators at Oregon. Why can't he's a second-year head coach too? Why can't we get that? Like, I don't understand. And the reason that is because Oregon opens their pocketbook. They ask a guy, hey, okay, you want to come coach at Oregon? How much money does it take to get you out of your job?
Yeah.
Notre Dame needs to do that. Like, if Ryan Grubbs is like, oh, well, I don't know if the job's worth it, if it's, more attractive. Okay, well, then we'll add $20 million to the contract. There you go. Come on. Like, that's how you do stuff when you're a big-time college football team and you want to compete. That's how serious you have to be. I mean,
do you give me a percent that we're getting a new offensive coordinator next year? What percent? 100%, 90%, 70, 50, 40, 30?
It better be 100%.
What is your opinion?
It better be 100%. My thought on it, it's like 60-40. I think Freeman is probably going to bring him back because us fans, we wanted Tommy Rees gone this year. And from all indications, that wasn't going to happen.
Okay, so my other question is this. Do you bench Sam Hartman for Steve Angeli?
Yes, the rest of the year, because there's nothing to play for. You have nothing. There, besides a ReliaQuest Bowl against LSU, you have nothing to play for.
Which would be awesome to win.
Which is my thing, and this is why I love Sam, his personality. But looking back on this whole thing, I think not only did Notre Dame waste their time with Sam Hartman wasted Notre Dame's time and Notre Dame fans' time, because this was supposed to be the year. This was supposed to be Notre Dame finally has a quarterback to compete with the big boys. We have finally best quarterback since Jimmy Clausen, Brady Quinn, whoever you want to put in there. This is our year. We beat Ohio State. This is our year. We go 11-1, 12-0 in the college football playoff. This is the year we could win the national title. And you go 9-3. You play like absolute garbage ever since the Ohio State game. Take away that drive against Duke. He played like trash in that game. And all you accomplished and during your time at Notre Dame was you collected millions and millions of dollars in NIL money.
Yep.
That's all you did. None of your goals.
Goals be said. Notre Dame did more for Sam Hartman than Sam Hartman did for Notre Dame.
Exactly. And that's what takes me off when we're talking about him.
I mean, take his million. He earned it.
Hartman would be undefeated in Washington. Your OC and head coach are the issue.
If you watched the Clemson game, you would realize that no matter the play call, it was the execution. Yeah, there's shitty play calls. Yeah, it's inexperienced coaching. But a 6-year quarterback doesn't overthrow and get spooked after interceptions. He doesn't overthrow open receivers.
There were 8 or 9 passes where he threw it into the dirt, Sean. He threw it into the dirt 5 yards, 10 yards away from any receiver.
If you're a 6-year quarterback, it doesn't take you 6 drives to score a touchdown that you can't score a touchdown on. I'm sorry. But here's this. Singer said this. I saw their video and a lot of stuff I liked about it, so I'm keep mentioning it. But you're telling me Angeli could not go 13, 15 for 30, 150 yards and 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions against Clemson?
I don't know. That's why I don't think the offense could be any worse with Angeli at quarterback. I really don't.
I think
if anything, Sean, in the limited time I've seen Angeli in this offense, he looks more comfortable in Gerad Parker's offense than Sam Hartman does.
You know,
that's so odd to me.
When
like
Angeli threw that pass, when Angeli threw that pass to Flanagan in the end zone, I went. At first, I was like, "Oh, touchdown, Steve." I mean, check down Steve. He always throws to the freaking running back every single play. But he let loose that drive. Is it? I mean, here's this. It sucks because I want Sam Hartman to start against Wake Forest.
Yeah. Look at Bo at Auburn and then at Oregon. The offensive philosophy is the difference. Penix isn't as good as his stats, but his offensive coordinator, head coach, and receivers are phenomenal.
Yeah, but our receivers
Aren't that bad.
Are young and injured. They're the same as Washington's. We out-recruited Washington for Tobias Merriweather. We out-recruit Washington. Recruiting isn't the issue. Talent isn't the issue. It's Notre Dame. They finished with top 10 recruiting classes. Marcus Freeman's a player's coach. He's a good coach. He's inexperienced, yes. Play calling, yes, I can see. But if you watch him throw, if you're a gunslinger, you don't go 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in the last 5 games and suck against Louisville, Pitt. And yes, play calling can make you make some mistakes, but that doesn't mean you throw a pick 6 against Clemson. That wasn't the play call. That was Sam freaking Hartman, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, the play calling was terrible.
The play calling doesn't make you overthrow a pass by 10 yards to a wide open receiver streaking down the sideline.
Like, Sam Hartman is good. I never said he wasn't, right? But if he was good enough, he would have already went to the NFL. Like, what do you?
My thing, and let me ask you this, Sean, because this is my philosophy on this. I kind of agree with what Lucas is saying about the philosophy, but I think it has more to do with the fact that maybe Hartman is a gimmick quarterback. Maybe what ACC people were telling us about Hartman is the only reason he was good at Wake was because of the slow mesh offense. And because what the whole purpose of the slow mesh is to slow things down, slow down the pressure, and it allows the quarterback to get extra time to scan the field.
So if Luke Dogg is saying that he's a schematic, it's the scheme. I mean, he was good in a slow mesh offense. He switched to a pro style offense and struggled. I like Sam Hartman. I love Sam Hartman. I want him to start the rest of the year just because I like him and I want to continue enjoying it. He's I think he was awesome and enjoyed watching him. He's super talented, made amazing plays. But I think it's foolish to say that this season's solely on the coaching, the receivers. Sam Hartman has not looked good.
Like, and the thing is, Sean.
Is he overrated? I wouldn't say.
Notre Dame could have Marvin Harrison Jr. out there at receiver.
Yeah.
Or Romeo Dunze. And I don't think the offense would be that much better.
So I do think, Hartman, like, I want to let him know this. Like, Hartman's good, right?
Yeah.
I think he was Notre Dame a little overhyped, a little overrated, and I think we were expecting more. But we all enjoyed him. We all love him and excited to finish the year with him. But he has struggled and has looked terrible. He has 0 touchdowns the past 2 weeks and like 4 or 5 interceptions. Like, he's just regressing. And I think it's idiotic to say he isn't. And he got a lot of money. He got what he came from for. He's done great. We enjoyed him.
I don't think he improved his draft stock.
No, I think it might have gotten a little
worse.
Yeah. But we all love Sam Hartman. Don't think otherwise.
Dude, no, I love him as a human being, as the player. I mean, the stuff he does. I mean, he's been at South Bend for not even a year, and the stuff he's done in the community for the team.
And I mean, I agree. Like, he did come to raise his draft stock. Goolsby is a little hit or miss with that. Like, I think you can go somewhere to improve your stock. But if he was good, he came in. But I just think he's.
You know what? And even in the Central Michigan game, we forget because that game ended up being a blowout. But Sam, to me, is a quarterback. If he has time in the pocket, he's great. But if there's any ounce of pressure, he just doesn't handle it very well. He just does not. And I almost wonder if he freaks out almost, because he did that a lot at Wake. And that's why he had 7 turnovers against Louisville last year at Wake was because of that. But it's just so odd to me because like Stephen Jelly comes in and looks it. I don't know if you remember, but those 3 offensive drives with Jelly, dude, the offense just looked beautiful.
It did. It was with backup as our offense, and I don't want to like.
No, and I understand it's against Pitt. I believe Pitt still had some of their starters on defense out there, but no, like even in the times like when Steve's gotten in there, does it just not seem like Steve has more confidence at this
I don't want to
point?
get too excited because let's be honest, week 1 and 2 against Navy and everything, we all thought the same thing about Sam Hartman. So I do got to see a little more of him. But yes, I was pretty happy with how he played and surprised.
As a snake oil salesman.
I love Coach Freeman. But I think if you watch Notre Dame and how they've played, yeah, there's play calling, why they run the ball there, why they throw it there, why they do this, why they do that.
Yeah. See,
yes, but we're not going to change our offense. He came to play into a new gimmick. He didn't come to play slow mesh at Notre Dame.
That's the thing is, Lucas, he came to Notre Dame because he said he wanted to, because scouts, the reason Sam came back for another year and didn't go to the NFL was because NFL scouts told him that he was either going to be a late 7th round pick or undrafted because they had concerns over whether or not he could run a pro style offense.
Yeah.
That's why he went to Notre Dame, because Notre Dame runs a pro style offense, and Notre Dame, he didn't want to do the gimmick stuff anymore. Notre Dame was just never going to do the slow mesh stuff. That's just not.
They did a play or two this year with it, but I mean, he got $2 million here at Notre Dame, more than a lot of people get. I get it, but here's the thing. I do want Angeli. I'm hit or miss. How about play both, right? I want to see Hartman finish his career, but why not give Angeli a few series here and there just for development purposes? But I think it'd be kind of shitty to bench Hartman, and that's an okay statement, Luke. I'm not saying it's a bad statement.
He hasn't done anything yet to prove he's a good coach.
But that doesn't make me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he can't become a good coach.
And that doesn't mean I don't think he is a good coach, because I do.
I think
he is a good coach. I understand why you would say that. But here's the thing. Sam Hartman, you can't bench him against Wake Forest. That's shitty. His former team, play him. But then there's one game left, the bowl game. Does he sit out the bowl game? I don't even know.
But let me ask you this. If Sam starts playing shitty against Wake Forest, do you pull him?
Yes.
What about Stanford? Do you pull him?
Yes.
How much of a leash does he get?
If we'd have 2 or 3 drives at the beginning of the game and we don't score against Wake Forest.
Okay.
I think you put
Wake
him
Forest
in
would love that. Wake Forest would love that.
I will say, though, that people are acting like LSU would curb stomp us in a ReliqueWest Bowl. We've beaten LSU the last 2 times they played them.
Yeah.
And let's be real, y'all are acting like Daniels is going to freaking play in the bowl game. He's probably going to sit out the bowl game. It's probably going to be backup quarterback versus backup quarterback. Their defense is atrocious. Our
defense is elite.
The offense is elite. It's going to be an interesting good
Who do you think sits out for Notre Dame in a possible bowl game?
100% Joe Alt, 100% Audrey Estime.
Cam Hart?
I could see it. I can also see Xavier Watts, but less
I think
likely.
Watts comes back next year, to be honest.
I did until he started leading the league. Now I think it's 50-50. I want him to come back, though. So, and then I think who else can sit out?
Riley Mills, he sit out.
He'll come back next year.
Okay.
I think you got to also think maybe one of the linebackers, and then maybe Sam Hartman. That's probably it.
There we go. I did nothing but stay mediocre. I see that just based on my experience. Because Lucas is an Oregon fan, by the way.
Is this the guy in the chat with the
Yeah.
oh, he's the one that's cocky.
Oh no. I get it, Lucas, but like to say that Freeman isn't a good coach is
Hey,
kind
Kirby
of
Smart too. Kirby Smart started like 85.
dude. Yeah,
90
Kirby
points.
Smart didn't do anything until what his 4th or 5th year. So I mean,
I will say this, that we're a little aggressive as Notre Dame fans and we want results. I think the 4th year is the chance. Next year, development year. 4th year, he needs to make the playoffs. If he doesn't, I hate it, but that might be it.
I don't know. I personally think CJ Carr is the one to get us a national title. That's what I think.
We'll see. I mean, it's next year is going to be an open competition. You tell all those quarterbacks they're going to bring in a transfer. They're going to. And it's not going to be a guaranteed start like this year, but they're going to. And I think you say, hey, may the best man win. If it's Munchie, if it's Carr, if it's Angeli, if it's the walk-on, I don't give a shit. Right?
Now, this is kind of looking ahead a little further. But do you do the same thing for the year after when Deuce Knight comes in?
What do you mean same thing?
Do you bring in a transfer?
No, because at that point you would have 4 scholarship quarterbacks.
Well, one of them would have to leave because if you bring in a transfer this year, if they're say they have 2 years left.
No, it's not going to be a 2 years left. It's going to be a 1 year.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I don't know how you navigate that quarterback room once Deuce Knight gets there because then you're going to have.
Well, let's be real. If Deuce Knight gets here and let's say CJ Carr is playing, Minchie will probably leave. If Kenny Minchie's starting, it's going to be a battle between Carr and Deuce Knight as the backup. And Jelly would transfer. It just depends. And if Jelly's starting, all 4 would be there. And then next year between Minchie, Carr, and Deuce Knight, the open competition.
Yeah, Lucas told me that he thinks Notre Dame's year is in 2024 or 2025.
Yeah, I think it just depends on I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Yeah, that's the thing is we're going to have like Jaden Greathouse, I think next year is going to be our number 1 at receiver. I think Cam Williams is going to start, which he should.
You're telling me Jaden Thomas and Chris Tyree ain't starting?
I don't know if Chris Tyree comes back.
He will.
I think you start Chris Tyree, Cam Williams, Jaden Greathouse. I don't think Jaden Thomas. I think Jaden Thomas is dude.
I think
he's injury prone.
It's a hamstring injury, and you know how it affects wide receivers.
I know, man. But like,
let's say next year he comes back and we need a big body receiver, right? We just do. He's one. I think that Cam Williams can sub in like Greathouse did this year for 1 year. Stupid decisions. Yeah, I mean, I do agree that execution is a big thing with this team.
That's what Brian Kelly said. Brian Kelly said execution over and over.
Yeah, he said the whole team need to get fucking executed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But have you noticed the difference, though? Yes, we're losing games we should, but have you noticed that Freeman in 2 years has as many top 10 wins as that Brian Kelly had at home? Have you noticed that LSU is getting blown out? The Alabama loss should have been 17 points if they didn't miss that field goal, but let's just say it's 14, right? LSU getting blown out and losing all these games with Brian Kelly like Notre Dame did.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame is not getting blown out by top teams. They haven't. They lost barely to Oklahoma State. They lost.
Well, the Louisville game. The Louisville game, we got our ass kicked.
Yeah, 100%. But, I mean, when you look at the ranked top, okay, I wouldn't say ranked, but top 10 teams thing, we're closing that gap. We were a second from beating Ohio State.
What do you think about this? If not quarterback, I understand why you say no to that, but
Thank you, Luke. That's a good question.
For receiver, offensive line, and the linebacker.
So, Luke, that is a great question.
I know a guy that Notre Dame.
Boise State.
The Boise State receivers,
Yeah.
he's him. I know he's expressed interest in Notre Dame.
Yes, you take a receiver just because of how.
Do you
thin
think
the-
Eric McAllister would come to Notre Dame? He's a sophomore.
I think he could. Why not? But
with now Notre Dame deals with undergrad transfers, you think they're going to take a guy from Boise State?
why not? I mean,
Does he have the academics? That's the only.
that's what we don't know, right? But if he does, why not? But here, let's just say this: they're going to get a wide receiver. It's going to happen. The room's going to have probably 12 scholarship wide receivers. It just is, right? We were at like 9 this year.
Who do you think would leave out of the group?
I think
some of
Tobias
them
Merriweather could be the one to leave.
gone.
Yeah. But you bring in somebody. O-line, I don't think so. I think you're going to end up – Fisher could come back. Worst case, if not, we have the talent to replace and develop with that. Linebacker's a good one. Snead is going to start next year, right? He's got enough playing time this year where I'm comfortable with him starting.
I think you start – well, Kaiser has one more year, right? Yeah, Kaiser?
No, Kaiser's gone too, buddy.
Okay,
All three are going to be gone.
So then I think you start – I think this is who I would start. Snead, I think you put Snead at the Jack Kaiser spot because it has speed and his athleticism. And then I think at the middle linebacker spot, you start Osbury and Bowen. That's who you start in the middle linebacker spot.
Watch out for true freshman KVA coming in and starting.
Oh, yeah, KVA could also sneak in there.
But I will say this. I think no matter what, yes, you get a linebacker transfer. D-line should be fine. Defensive back should be fine. But, like, you're too inexperienced there. You're going to have
Connor's a Virginia Tech fan, by the way. So he said send a quarterback to VT if Carr is going to start.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have Steven Dilly. Let's say that, you got Snead right there. And then you're going to have one of those young guns, whether it's Osbury, Bowen or KVA. You do need a transfer to have experience because I am not comfortable having a junior who's played mainly his sophomore year and has struggled but is getting playing time, and a freshman and a sophomore or freshman redshirt, right? It's just not a recipe for success. You do need to bring in someone with experience. Don't bring in a Viper at linebacker. Botello will probably come, or you can put Botello. I could see them playing Botello as a JD Bertrand type role. It's tough. But yeah, I think they do bring in a transfer linebacker. I think they bring in a transfer quarterback, wide receiver, and I think they bring in a linebacker, maybe D lineman. What about you?
Yeah, I think receiver for sure. D line. I think with how bad the offensive line has been on the interior, you bring someone in.
Well, we're getting a good freshman in, and I mean, these guys are already having a year under their belt. I think that they should.
I mean, I guess maybe you could move Jagasaw to the guard spot.
I haven't been that upset. I think that not Ashton Craig. I think that Pat Coogan and Rocco should start next year.
Oh no. Jesus
What?
Christ. Watching the Lakers game simultaneously and we're getting blown out by 22 points.
I mean, Blake Fisher, let's say he does come back, but we're fine. But if he doesn't, at tackle, we're probably going to have to play Emil Wagner.
Well, I mean, he was a highly touted guy.
Jagasaw. Oh, I could see Gerby Lambert.
Oh, yeah, Gerby. Lucas says, make a move for Gentry at USC. I know it's a huge rival, but he's the best player on that defense. And USC might have a mass exodus next season.
We'll definitely see. It's going to be interesting. I think. But I want to ask you this too before we're done. But what are the chances Angeli starts before the end of the season? If you're Freeman, you have to think about the future. You can't have a first-year start go at Texas A&M. I think he starts the bowl game, probably.
I think the bowl game he starts. Maybe Stanford.
Does he play at all in Wake Forest?
I think he plays against Wake Forest for sure.
Is it because we're up so much, or is it because
I think because we're up so much. That's what I think.
I just don't know what's going to happen?
Although, you know what's so odd about Wake Forest this year, and I feel so bad for Hartman in this aspect, is Wake Forest has an actual good defense this year. And their offense is what sucks with Mitch Griffiths at quarterback. And it's like
They probably could have won the ACC.
they didn't have a good defense the entire time Hartman was there. The 1 year he leaves, their defense gets good. Which is so odd to me. But now I think Steve plays at least half of the games to end the season.
I don't know, man. It's we have no idea what's going to go on. I mean, we have our hit or misses. A part of me is like, the season's already over. The experiment was great, Sam Hartman, but we need to think about the future of the program. And a part of me is like, you know what? He's awesome. Play him. It's tough. It really is. But I think Freeman will continue to play him.
Yeah, I think so as well. Final thoughts before we get out of here. I wanted to bring up something because it is basketball season now for the Fighting Irish. I don't know if you watched the game a couple nights ago.
I couldn't. It wasn't on TV.
It was on ESPN Plus. I was able to watch it. Notre Dame took down that Eagles of Niagara. I know, not that big of an opponent, but Marcus Burton, freshman phenom, from a local kid from Mishawaka, Indiana, broke Notre Dame's all-time scoring record for a Notre Dame basketball debut with 29 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. He was the reason that they won that last night. He had 6 and 1s that were all layups, and fastest guy in college basketball. So I wanted to give a shout out to Marcus Burton. He was the only Mike Bray recruit that stuck with the program. So hometown kid, Notre Dame, grew up a Notre Dame fan. And for him to break LaFonso Ellis's record in his first game at Notre Dame, insane. Also, shout out to Notre Dame basketball fans. They were packed last night for the Shrews Crew's first game in the Purcell Pavilion. I'm going to be checking out the basketball team here in a couple months when they go play Louisville. So, Sean, if you get a chance, man, go check it. You need to go get to a game because this basketball team's looking exciting, man.
Maybe one day.
They're starting 4 true freshmen this year.
Are they going to be anywhere near here?
Georgia Tech.
At Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
This year?
Yep.
I'll have to think about it, definitely. Go support them. Yeah, I mean, I do like Notre Dame college basketball, obviously, but they've been not the best the past few years. And,
this is the most excited I've been for a Notre Dame basketball team.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be that good this year.
No. I don't think they're, but I think they're going to be very talented. They're just really young.
I think they're going to be they're going to be a March Madness sleeper in like two years.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah, it's a great performance by him.
Yep.
Breaking records, and the future is definitely bright for the basketball program.
Yeah, like I said, I think Micah Shrewsbury is Marcus Freeman, but for basketball, he recruits at an elite level. Like, seeing the recruits he's already getting at Notre Dame is insane. But anyways, guys, we went a little over. It's first show actually over an hour for us. There are lots to talk about. Me and Sean had to go on our rants because of that piss poor performance in Clemson, South Carolina. Anyways, guys, this has been the Gold Standard with your host, Ryan Favell, and my co-host, Sean, at ND Forever on Twitter. Go give us each a follow. We will be back next week to preview Notre Dame's matchup with Wake Forest for senior night or senior day.
The season has gone so fast.
Yeah, I know, man. College football is almost over.
This is the
Sad.
fastest season. I mean, we have 2-3 games left, and where has the time gone?
I
It,
know,
it
man.
feels like yesterday we were just
It
talking
does.
before the Navy game, like waiting for the season to start.
It really does. But anyways, guys, we'll be back next week, like I said. And anyways, stay safe. God bless.